This is the regular board meeting for the Rockcastle County Board of Education. And before we get started tonight, I would like to welcome our guests. Thank you for being here. We love seeing our kids come and bless us. They're a blessing every single month when we get to see them. But before we get started, most of you know that we've had a tragedy that has happened in our school district this week. And we just thought it was appropriate if we just have a moment of silence. Thank you all. And we send our deepest thoughts and prayers go out to Mr. Larry Lee's family at this time. And for all of our staff and all of our kids at Mount Vernon Elementary, we would like for them to know that this board supports them 100%, and we are here if they are in need of anything, Ms. Kimberly. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The first thing on our agenda tonight is a moment of silent prayer. Amen. Item 1B is a roll call. Please let the minutes reflect that all board members are present. Item 1C is the board team commitments, the reading of those, and I've not done that for a while, so I'll go ahead and read those tonight. Board team commitments for Rockcastle County Schools. To improve our effectiveness, the board team for Rockcastle County Schools commits to review processes and experiences to identify and direct improvements, continuously define and work toward long-term goals which serve all students of the district, make each decision based on facts and the best for all students, listen to each other and speak freely, work together, support each other and not surprise one another, discuss board deliberations to point of mutually agreeable resolution based on factual information, support the majority's decision projecting board unity toward shared goals for continuously improving district-wide student learning, operate without personal or political agendas, respect one another, agree to disagree respectfully, delegate implementation to superintendent and education team, and to respectfully remind each other of these commitments. Item 2 on our agenda is to adopt the agenda. We need to make one change. Under operations and actions, we need to add a Q, and Dr. Ballinger is going to explain that.
Yes, we need to add an MOU between Rockcastle County School Districts and the Kentucky Department of Education Office in Career Technical Education. And this MOU would allow us to share student information back and forth between the school district and the Office of Career and Technical Education.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, have first, second, all in favor? Okay. Item 3 is our school and our community showcase. And we are excited tonight to hear from Mr. Dustin Reynolds from Roundstone Elementary School.
Well, first of all, I just
and show confidence. This connects to Leader and Me because it helps us My name is Sana Ashdod. Good evening. I would like to tell you about our school pep rallies called Nest Fest. Nest Fest is a special time when our whole school comes together to celebrate leaders and have fun. At each Nest Fest, we recognize the leaders of the month from every grade. These students are chosen because they show the 7 habits and are great examples of kindness, responsibility, and teamwork. Each leader gets a certificate to show that their hard work matters. After the awards, the leaders also get to play a couple of fun games in front of the school. It is exciting to cheer them on and celebrate their success. Nest Fest helps us feel connected as a school and inspires everyone to be their best. Nest Fest reminds us that leaders are everywhere and everyone has the choice to shine. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Emma Hacker and I'm in fourth grade. I would like to take a moment to talk about why Leader in Me is a great program for Roundstar Elementary. Leader in Me helps all students learn how to be leaders every day, both in school and at home. Through Leader in Me, we learn the 7 habits. Be proactive, begin with it, end it fine. Put things first, think win-win, seek to understand, then to be understood, synergize and sharpen the saw. These habits help us make good choices to solve and treat others with respect. We learn that leadership is not about being bossy. It's about helping, listening, and doing our best. Because of Leader and Me, students at Roundstar are more confident, responsible, and respectful. It helps our school a positive place where everyone belongs and everyone can lead. We are proud to be leaders at Roundstar Elementary. Go Eagles!
So as you can see, those leaders have already benefited from that, and like I was thinking about when Abby was talking about the announcements. It really is amazing, like to have kindergartners saying the pledge and third graders reading the lunch menu and the birthday. So it's been really good, and we've really enjoyed that. So I'll move on. I'm just going to talk about some things that are going on in our school, some things that like personally my goals and what our goals are for the school. So we'll go on, Eric, to the next slide there. So KSA, obviously that came out a couple weeks ago. And as you can see, we're a yellow school, and we were green in all content areas. Obviously, our number one goal this year is to become green. We feel very confident that we can do that. We talk about ways. I talk with teachers every day about some things that we can do just to bump us up a little bit. We're only 5 points away. That's very doable. And we feel very confident in doing that. We are setting high expectations for students, and I think that's extremely important. I'll talk a little bit later about iReady. I met with every single third through fifth grader. I guess on Friday individually. I wanted to talk about their goal. We were taking the diagnostics this week, today, and math will be tomorrow and Thursday. But I want them to know. Listen, I don't just want you to gain a few points. We have high expectations. We're pushing our students to be the absolute best, and I feel very confident we can do that. Our staff works very hard, and they really do. We if I ask anything. Sometimes we I aggravate Miss Nikki. She always has crazy ideas. And sometimes we jump in full force, but everyone gets behind it and work extremely hard. So we did see pretty good amount of growth in reading and social studies, and we want to continue with other areas in that. So that's our goal. Our teachers know that. Our students know that. That's kind of where we're going for. Talk about attendance a little bit. I want to get Mr. Redford on the screen. He loves to. He's shown. So in the month of October, we were the district cup winners. We are in a top race though with Mount Vernon and Broadhead. Overall, our goal for attendance is to be 95%. Today we hit that. Most days we do. We're a little under that for the whole year. But we work really hard on getting kids to school. Miss Tina, we call parents. If you're not there, we want to know why. We want you to be there. We put in several things to reward students. Some things they were doing before I even got there. We continued those. We like to reward homerooms. Simon, 5 days, 95% or above. What do you get to do?
You get to spin the wheel.
You get to spin the wheel. And everybody knows you get to spin the wheel. If you spin the wheel, you might win popcorn, or you might win 5 extra minutes of recess. But kids look forward to that. Kids hold each other accountable. Like, hey, we need to be above 95%. So we're working hard to do that. But we're very close to our goal right now, and I think we can get there. Talk a little bit about our Veterans Day program. This is something kind of killed a lot of Veterans Day programs, and I think it ran as well. We decided we wanted to bring people back into our building. We wanted them to feel welcome. And I'll call out Miss Ann Abney. I don't think she would mind, but she wrote a very nice note. Just telling us how much she appreciated that, and I shared that with the staff. But it was very it's pretty cool to hear her say those things. Very kind words. Our third grade did that performance. Miss Allen worked extremely hard with them. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to our third graders for doing that performance. Very successful. Eagle Mania, we'll talk a little bit about that. We have 4 Eagle Manias throughout the end of each 9 weeks. This is completely on behavior. Basically, a kid can earn up to 50 Eagle Bucks, and they know that. They get a debit card on their behavior. Some of them have 45, some have 40. But the Eagle Bucks allow them to play games. Mr. Brent Lovell brought down a classroom of his students to help us run those games. That's something our kids look forward to, and it kind of falls right in line with PBIS things that have been going on for a couple of years. So. Talk a little bit. I've already mentioned, but we're very adamant about tracking lessons. So we do a monthly competition. For example, our third graders won it in November, so they get a dodgeball party because we ask kids to pass 2 lessons in reading and 2 in math each week. And like I said earlier, I met with the kids, know their goals. I had several kids come up to me today and say, hey, I went up 30 points, or I went up 25 points. So that's super exciting. I think kids are really putting a lot of work in it already. And then we know, me and Mr. Williams, we talked a lot. Already is a very good indicator. I mean, it just correlates a lot with KSA. And so we want to be very adamant about doing those to the best of our ability. Just some personal goals. I'll kind of end on this slide here. Some things that we're really focusing on. At PLCs every Monday, we talk about this Monday. Actually, we want to make sure that we're focusing on standards, and you have to do that. I think sometimes programs are great, and they help us do that. There's nothing like a teacher standing in front of a classroom teaching, breaking down standards, and we know that is to be successful, and so we're really focused on that. Clarity work. We've worked with Miss Jackie Thompson. She's phenomenal. She comes in usually monthly and kind of works with us. Make sure our learning intentions and criteria line up for us to be successful. The next thing I really worked on, Miss Carey talked about this when I became hired. I want to build good relationships in that school. I want to build good relationships with the staff. I want to build good relationships with the students. I lunch with students basically every day. Usually kindergartners because that just fits my schedule a little better. I want kids to want to talk to me. I want kids to work hard for us, and I think that's a me and Zach Gentry always talk about that at the middle school. That relationships are so important to students, and so I've really focused on that. The last thing that we're trying to really, we want the culture at our school to be the best. We want kids to be so proud to be an Eagle. And I think a lot of our kids are there, and we're training them at a young age. I want them to be proud to be from Roundstone. We're working hard, to kind of instill that in them. So that's something we've really worked on, and things that we're doing, and just again, the relationship building helps with that so much, and you guys know that. So that's basically all I appreciate you all for letting our kids come. They've been a little nervous about this. And today, I don't know if you saw on the news, but had a lot going on. Practice a whole lot. So I'm very proud of them. I want to thank them and their families for being here with us. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
Mr. Reynolds, I have to ask.
Yeah.
I believe it was this young man here who was talking about the pep rally.
Yeah.
And he said he called it something.
Nest Fest.
Nest Fest.
Yep.
Okay.
So
The
Miss
Eagle
Alexa
Nest.
Bustle and Miss Fairchild worked a lot with their student council, and that was the name they kind of voted on. And
Okay.
said, "Can we call it Nest Fest?" And I said, "Absolutely." We're the Eagles. Yep. Yep. So.
And I was going to comment too, which I called Thomas whenever the results came out, and he was at a meeting somewhere, and I aggravated him probably too long. But being green in all content areas, but being a yellow school makes very little sense to me.
Right.
But I have no doubt that you're going to be a green school, and but I think it makes no sense.
Right. Well, our overall index is just not high. Our overall index is 5 points away, and we know we need to get to 70. And we've talked about, some things that we can do to get us there. So I think we're right on track. And our third graders, who this will be the first year they're testing, that's a super strong group. So we're very proud of them. And I was looking at some of their results today, and they're really good. So that is very, promising, and I feel like we're right on track. So.
And also one of the children had said something about, I think it was this young man here, I don't remember your name, about the leader of me being kind to others, and just how important that is. And I just think that I think you are doing great things down there.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for bringing your kids
Yep.
here to highlight them. 'Cause
Absolutely.
it's all about them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean,
had the hard act.
yeah, you have the hard act to follow.
I told them, listen, you guys can do whatever. They're gonna like you. Don't worry about it. Just do your best. They'll enjoy you. So.
And the big brother back here, I'm assuming that's your little brother? Yeah, listen, he's gonna follow you around. You gotta teach him all kinds of good stuff, okay? Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
appreciate y'all. Thank
Thank you all.
you. Yeah, absolutely. How you doing?
Thank you all.
Good picture.
Perfect. Give me a smile real big.
Good job, you all. Thank you.
Did you all get it on this?
Mom, let's get it.
Yeah, come back.
All right.
Yeah. Good job.
It's always great to cover kids here. So it's uplifting. And it's always great to hear from Codell. So that's the next thing on our agenda.
Well, that didn't make that clear.
But he never tells a joke.
I know, have any jokes, but, and you, I'm not joking. That Leader to Me program sounds a whole lot like a construction manager training program. And if you all ever want to send anybody our way, but to that point for real, if y'all ever have any co-op opportunities in this county, I don't know if y'all do or not, but we are always happy to entertain that as an option. If y'all
Here's
have
our person right here.
Oh, well, before you get started, this can be on the record or off the record. We would like to have a donation for project graduation from Codell. If you could talk to him after. Just on the spot in front of everybody.
I will, I'll talk to them. I'm sure they'd be happy to. I will let them know and pass that along. That's not a problem. I'm sure they'd be happy to do that.
I thought I'd get that.
As long as Jim Codell isn't donating my time.
Well, they're gonna have, somebody's gotta cook that night, so that might be what happens.
I've been known to cook several dinners for Codell and other things, so we'll see. So everything's moving along right now on project site. It is again we're obviously moving in the winter, so that's kind of rough. December's usually worse than the beginning of January really, but we're heading in that direction. I'm very hopeful. I mean, maybe falsely, but I'm very hopeful that we won't have a terrible winter. They're continuing to lay blocks like right now, and all that's going along pretty well. And we'll go through these pictures and kind of see some of the progress. It doesn't touch on everything, but it does catch quite a bit of it. So jump in here in the mechanical room. So we got two different mechanical rooms. There's one that's above the old bleachers kind of in the back there, and then one that is back on where the previous stage was. This is up above the bleachers. I'm not even kidding. I walk in that room and I'm found how much found a way to squeeze space. It's a big room. There's a lot of big stuff in there. And I for context, look at this stuff every day. I'm like, that's a lot.
Amazing.
It is a lot. So they're moving along on that, and they are moving quite at a pretty good clip on that. It's going well. We have not had any issues with that. You want to go on to the next slide? That's going to take us on down into lower mechanical room that is up on the stage. They're just getting everything ready for the chiller system. Got the pumps in, those installed. There's a lot of work going on down in that lower mechanical room area as well. There's an aerial shot. So we've got everything that has been built so far has got deck on. There's a whole lot of brick put up. That's kind of what you're looking at right there. All of the gym on down. That is all the steel that can be put in. All the joists are in. All the deck is on. And we're working towards getting the roof on as soon as we can. There's a few walls, framed walls that go up on the roof. We're scheduling those out here in the next week and a half or so. They're going to be showing those in, and then I would say later. Third week we're pushing third week of December, and then we got Christmas, but we're pushing the roof as soon as we can, optimally sometime around the end of December, and start getting the roof put on. That would get all of that space dried in. And then on down to the bottom of the screen, you see the courtyard. There's another shot that we've got the actual courtyard proper. But you can go up to the next slide. So this is the kitchen and cafeteria area. They're going ahead with overhead rough ends, and that's going to be moving forward. Just kind of as a precursor, kind of get it in mind what we're thinking right now. So and this is all very tentative. Kind of what we're anticipating is that we're very hopeful that we could get kitchen and cafeteria done as soon as humanly possible, and then try to work with the school, see about shifting over, or making a plan and getting something in place that we could shift over as early as we could using the new kitchen and the new cafeteria, traffic students through the gym and into that new portion of the school. And then that would be kind of timed out. Gonna be here how we figure it out. But there's a lot of planning going into it, but figure that out, and then just trying to get into that new kitchen, or the old kitchen, as soon as possible, because that is kind of tying up just the last piece of the library and closing the rest of this portion of the building in. So we're trying to navigate all that, and this was all kind of, about that. It wasn't really even just kind of discussed. We talked about it for about 2 hours this afternoon, but we haven't talked about it with school yet, but this is all in flow. I'm just kind of giving everybody an idea of what's going on there. Next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see Trent. He's like, this is all news to me. And that would be the cafeteria. Again, cafeteria in the kitchen area. That's in the kitchen. You can go on back. Oh, next slide. It's fine. So that is the courtyard, and then kind of what you're looking at. You see that ramp going up, and then you actually have your green space inside the courtyard. That is all ready. Just the last thing that has to be done with that is a last layer of stone put down right before and sand and all that before the turf goes down. But we're going to wait and hold off on doing that until the turf guys are ready to show up within the next week or so. That way we can plan that out accordingly.
You said when the roof starts, will you put a new roof over the old gymnasium also?
Yes.
Yes.
You just trying to stump me up here?
Well, we already asked you for one donation, maybe I should get that.
No, I do believe so.
There
I'm
is.
sure it is, yeah.
Yeah, I do
So
believe
will
so.
those old units come off of there?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, there won't be any package units on the new building on top of the roof.
Nothing on the top of the roof.
No, they're all in mechanical roof.
Yes. And that's part of the reason we have such large equipment and duct and everything in the mechanical room.
Okay.
All that was brought inside, and
Oh, that's good.
all those
Less
units are rated to be protected outside, but it is always longer for the life of the unit to bring it inside. And yeah.
So I've got a really silly question, I
Mhm.
guess. With those units being on the inside, will that make the noise?
No,
No.
they're in their own room.
They're in their own room, and they're in block rooms, so it's not. Yeah,
Okay.
they're pretty well secluded.
Okay.
We designed it that way because we didn't want maintenance staff in and out of classrooms during instructional time or in the hallway during instructional time, so they can just go in the mechanical room and work on whatever they need to. That won't disrupt anybody.
And then, so this picture kind of brings in some of that lower level, on down closer to the field. Walls are growing up there, and they're moving along with that. I would say by the end of the week, that wing wall kind of sticking up in the courtyard to my left would be your left too. That's the brick on that's going to be done, and they'll be starting to work on all getting ready to. I mean, they're getting ready now. They're starting to pour the remaining planter boxes. There's some flower planter boxes in there. They're starting to pour those, and then they'll be working on pouring all the flat work in the courtyard and getting all that ready. But that's just kind of a precarious area because you got to get everything ready before you close it in entirely, because it's hard to get concrete and brick and all that stuff in. Talk to the steel guys. They're going to be working on getting the big beams that come from that far area back to the lower level. That should be coming here by the end of next week. Those will be installed. They'll work on getting the slabs done for the bus tunnel area, and then just keep on going up with it. That's the plan. And then there's the other side of the turned around view of the lower level. There's actually quite a bit more block laid at this point than what's in that picture. But
That's a lot in a month.
It's taking shape.
I mean, I feel like from the last pictures.
it is. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Even the concrete that you all poured through the structure in a month is.
There's quite a bit
huge.
of work going on, and there's a lot of that. They do a really good job, and I know that this kind of gets forgotten, but they've been shaping that hill quite a bit over off to the side in the front. But they've been working on cleaning that up and getting that kind of shaped. Some of it in the back's already actually pretty close to what the grade will be, so they're just trying to dress all it up and make sure it's
I'm pretty
staying.
sure that'll be the last thing that gets done. This
It
project.
probably. But they've been working on it. And then there again, that's the courtyard. That area where all the turf will be, and then back in that corner to the right is a stage. So they're getting ready to pour that little stage back there. Where the brick's going on with the scaffold, they'll be pouring that side first. Come on around and pour this flat work out here in the middle. The lower section's all turf, and then they'll move on over and start working on those stairs, getting the stairs poured.
Does it get too cold to pour?
Sometimes it does. Yes, it absolutely does get too cold to pour. There are measures you can put in place that allow you to continue to pour.
Okay.
And on a job like this, where they're pouring as much concrete as they are, typically they just go ahead and do it. Plants will charge $1 or $2, $5 a yard or something extra just to put additives in the concrete to keep it from freezing or make it cure faster and things like that. They can also temp the concrete and heat it. But so far they've been kind of sticking to when it's relatively easy. I mean, as long as it's within a few degrees of freezing, they can just put blankets over it. The concrete creates enough heat on its own if it's covered in a thermal blanket that
It's good. Okay. Good deal.
Approximately how many employees are on this site?
in a regular day's time, I mean, it's varied quite a bit. I mean, at the peak, there were probably, I think there was 65 to 70 guys a day. That's slacked off some. I would say there's about 35 to 40 there today with the concrete guys and the electricians, HVAC guys, everybody.
But there's stuff you all can do inside even if it gets
Yeah,
too cold.
and that's what the primary focus on. That's kind of, so if you were to drive down there and look at it today, upstairs is not near as lacking. I say upstairs, but the upper level is not near as lacking. There's a lot of masonry interior walls that aren't load bearing. Several of those are up in that upper level. If you go down the lower level in A and B, that's on the bottom of the drive lane, they're bringing up, you'll look out there, there's a lot of block walls that you see over there. There's a lot of them that they're just bringing up that are all structural walls. That's all they're focusing on, just to get the deck on, to get it covered up. And then it helps the masons, it helps everybody, because it gives them somewhere to work in the wintertime. They can put a couple heaters in there and work and keep on going. So.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So, and that was that brick wall I'm talking about. That should be done by the end of the week. That'll be out. Get out, wreck scaffold out, get out of the way, and get ready to pour some concrete. And that's another picture of the courtyard. And then that's the hill in the back. They've been kind of working on dressing up, getting everything. Just not to any great extent, but they've kept a site crew on site. There's plenty of site work to do here, so it's been fitting.
How does the county need any dirt, rocks, anything like that?
We'll sell it to you.
I said it at the beginning of the job, we should open a rock quarry here. I'm telling you. And all that's coming together pretty good. There's been quite a bit of work going on around the back, but all that in the back's coming together pretty good. The fire suppression mains are all in. Primaries have all been pulled to all the cabinets inside for the mechanical rooms. They've not been landed and terminated yet, but all the big wires been pulled in. It's all going along.
How many feet down is that by the existing building?
Oh, I mean, out on the corner, it's 12 or 13 feet. I mean, it's.
I've always heard the first school was just kind of thrown on a slab of rock, and that just
It is.
it just that proves it.
I can
They just
testify
went
to
in and
that.
just built it. I mean, they did not. I'm
Wait.
sorry.
When we first started that road cut, and blasting and everything. I was driving in from Jackson County one day, going down the big hill, coming out, and I took a picture of the cut side of the road. Texted to Daryl. I was like, "Look, I'm in Rockcastle." I mean, it's a big cut. It's about 13 foot out.
I mean, that's what I've always heard,
Yeah.
is that they just literally went in and built it and right on the spot.
That's why it's on 7 different levels.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah. And I mean, how true.
It is.
There was
It
some
is
truth to
seven
it.
different levels.
There was definitely some truth to it.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Very
Thank you
nice.
so much.
Anytime.
I hope that you and your family and everyone has a very Merry Christmas. Please tell everyone we said that.
Absolutely.
Sorry I put you on the spot, but I'm really not sorry because our kids, need a good project.
Y'all can take Christmas off as long as you're on schedule.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I could not leave here without congratulating Superintendent.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I mean, that's a pretty big award.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've got a good board and a good team that's there.
And that's why you got it. See, you shuck off. You don't shuck off the responsibility. You give everybody the praise. That's a leader. You took leader in me, didn't you?
Joe.
Thank you all very much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I didn't realize they had that much done, because when I go out there, you're not back. I'm
Yeah.
not back there. You know what I'm saying? I could not stick.
I
my
saw a
head
lot
around
during
it.
football games because I would come in on the inside.
Oh, you came in, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I've not been. All right, the next thing on our agenda is operations and actions. We do have the one addition, which is 4Q, which is the MOU with the Department of Education, Office of Career and Technical Education. Are there any questions for anything else that is on there? Or Dr. Ballinger?
Yes, I would like to make one comment. On 4M, we are approving an MOU between Rockcastle County Schools and Rural Up, and we have joining us tonight Mr. Channing. He is here with us from Rural Up, and I just wanted to welcome him and tell him how much I appreciated you being here. As you all know, the PIM grant that we have had through PRI has been really has helped us do a lot of great work on post-secondary readiness at Rockcastle County High School. So much so that we were the #1 school in the state for post-secondary readiness this year. Unfortunately, we're no longer going to have that grant moving forward, but we've been in some partnership with Rural Up, and they have come through for us, and they're going to be a great partner for us moving forward in helping us to find work placement opportunities for our students. They're going to help us with significant monetary contributions for paying salaries for our students, and also going to be putting them through some mentorship, professional development work, and helping them prepare for careers after high school. So we're really excited and really happy to be able to approve this MOU tonight to work with them.
The MOU for 4Q that we added, I don't see it in here.
It's not.
Okay,
We just
okay.
got that, Sherman received that right before the board meeting and walked in, and we
But if you-
decided
if
we
you
would put
want
it
to
in.
look
We
at it.
have it here if you would like it.
Y'all can review it.
Because it's
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I move to approve.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Yep.
Okay. Item 5A, review and approve the monthly financial report. Ms. Jean.
Our financial report, our Fund 1 balance, ending at the month of November is $6.6 million. Our overall book balance is $14.7 million. Did want to point out each month, you receive an update on our construction investment. So that's our payments, less the payments from the prior month, plus the interest for that month. Our construction investment balance is currently $28.6 million. In Fund 1, our revenues for the month was $3.8 million and our expenses $1.8 million. Do you have any questions about the financial reports as presented?
Anything out of the ordinary or?
Nothing out of the ordinary. Standard, um, standard, we're spending money and taking care of, all the things, needed in our school district.
I had a question, just it's a curiosity, I guess. When I was looking at the invoices for solid ground,
Yes.
okay, um, what all do they do exactly? Because I mean, I thought that they were just like a testing a company that went in, test the soils, test the ground quality.
They're consulting engineers, so like if they dig a ditch, they make sure that it's up to spec. If they pour concrete, they'll test the slump in the concrete. They do lots of different things. It's just standard. You have to have a consulting engineer on the job that does that.
So it's a continuous thing that will be throughout the,
Yes.
so, okay, well, see, I was under a misconception that their business only was ground testing and all of that. I did not realize that they had to do all of that. Okay, all right, thank you.
They have a line item in the bid, in the overall bid, and then that is part of the monthly pay app that we receive from, Codell.
Yeah, I just seen all of those and I was just like,
Mhm.
well, what all do they do? Because I know that if they had just been the initial ground testing, that
Sure.
should have already been taken
Sure.
care of.
And depending on the work, one invoice might fall into 1 month, or depending on the work, there might be 2 invoices from them that falls into that pay app.
And then in the big scheme of it, it's a very small number. And I don't know why that would have caught my attention more than everything else, but it just, I was not aware that they did all those services. Okay. Thank you, Miss Jenny. Does anyone else have any questions for Miss Jenny? Need a motion to approve the monthly financial report?
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Item 5B, review the 26-27 school calendar committee recommendation. Mr. Redford?
So you all approved our calendar committee membership at last month's meeting, and we met on November the 20th and had a couple of calendar options. We came back last Thursday, I think that was December the 4th, and discussed the two options, and you all probably saw those. They're in your folder there. Option one, very similar to this year. It's a variable calendar option, and under a variable calendar option, you don't, the number of school days do not matter. You have to meet the 1,062 hour threshold. So that's what that's what we're on this year. We were on that a couple of times during COVID as well. The biggest difference in these two calendars is option one has 8 less instruction days, the variable, as opposed to the standard calendar. On the option one, first day of PD would be August the 13th. The first day of school would be August the 24th. Statute says that it would have to be from variable calendar. That's the earliest day it could be, August the 24th. And then we've got our standard holidays, Labor Day there, fall break, October 5th through the 9th. And this year, one difference in the calendars, we didn't have election day. It's that odd year where we didn't have an election day break. So we actually took one of those embedded PD days this year and moved to the beginning of the year. And that's when all of us got that Leader in Me training. So in this calendar, we do have election. This is election year, so that November 3rd would be a break day. The second would be an embedded PD day, like we've done in years past. Thanksgiving, very similar there to what we've had in years past. Christmas break, very similar. You know, I debated that PD day after we come back from Christmas break, but that was super popular. I didn't realize how much that teachers and staff appreciate having that day to prepare when we come back after being off for 2 weeks. So that was made it very clear they wanted to keep that day in there. Martin Luther King, of course, we have that day off. President's Day is February 15th on both calendars. Embedded PD Day on March the 12th. That's the end of the third 9 weeks, gives us that day for that transition from the third 9 weeks to the fourth 9 weeks. And then, of course, you can see spring break there. And then the last day of school would be there on, looks like, if I can read that, May the 19th. So again, the calendars are very similar. The option one, the variable 162 instructional days, 4 holidays, 3 embedded PD days, 6 actual PD days, 1 opening and closing day, which also are PD, 185 days total. Again, option two, very similar. The only changes is it's 8 days earlier. The first PD day is August 3rd. And we would start on a Wednesday on that calendar. So it's essentially not a lot of difference. If you look, they're identical as opposed, even the last day of school is the same. It's just we start 8 days earlier on option two. So whenever we gathered feedback, option one was overwhelmingly popular. Just to give you some stats, what we do is I ask them all to come back and give me feedback based on what their group that they represent told them. And so every individual member of the committee said option one. And it was pretty overwhelmingly. Some staff members send out a Google form. So for instance, like at the middle school, I think there was one staff member voted for option two. At the high school, it was 83% option one, 17% option two. So those numbers were similar at our other schools.
We
So
also
do you all have?
surveyed the hospital, is that correct?
We did. Ms. Jana Bray did a survey to the hospital. She was one of our community representatives. And it was a little closer. It was 9-7. I think she said there were 16 people that responded to that in favor of option one. So, sometimes we get in our bubble, school folks. But the parent members, they like the later start time too. That was very, very popular, having that later start time. And in the years past, when we started the same week as the Broadhead Fair, that's not a great time to start. It seems like we had issues a lot of times when that happens. So that kind of, and we try to be obviously responsive to community events like that too. So the committee overwhelmingly recommends option one.
I think a good thing with these calendars, it kind of spaces out those PD days. You kind of almost get a day off a month. It's nice to have a little break, even though a day is just a day, but it's nice to have a little break for kids. It gives them something to look forward to. It gives them some morale.
And for instance, the November PD day, a lot of times this year we didn't, but a lot of times we have KSA results. So that gives an opportunity to review those, a PD day to review those. And they are.
They're staggering those.
9-week break, basically.
Yeah.
That's when we get one.
It's really nice. So, I told Marcus, the people I talked to was kind of people my age that really didn't have kids in school anymore. But when we had kids in school, what would you have thought? What would your decision have been? And even then, they went with option one. School programs, because believe me, I service those same peoples. But you have our community has got really good about staggering Bible schools. We've got summer school programs that feed our kids, and I think that's really looked at more so than ever it has been in the last 10 years. But I know where your heart is, because believe me,
Yeah, I have.
see those same faces.
You probably see my face.
I see those
my
same
face too.
faces, and I think that our community, our churches have really gotten together, and I've noticed how staggered our BBSs have gotten.
And
our
last
churches
year,
have done a really good job with that.
Mr. Bishop and Dr. Badger can speak to this more, but we had, that is on all of our minds. And so last year, well, a lot of snow days, and NTI days we fed, and then, of course, during the summer.
I think that Mr. Bishop and the people who helped and like the volunteers in the community really stepped up, and I was so appreciative of the summer feeding and stuff like that, which soothed my heart more so. And I said this last year, and I'll say this again. I'm going to support this team. I'm going to support this board 100%. But I am going to speak up for how I feel. Obviously, you all know me very well. I do the 8 less days is not just about food. It's about the security of the kids that are in homes that don't need to be in those homes. So that always concerns me. So I have to voice my opinion of that. And I also, I know that it's based a lot on the minutes of the day. That's how we can justify doing that. And I'm not so sure that those extra, how many minutes a day?
15.
I'm not so sure that the extra 15 minutes a day is as adequate instruction as 8 days. And I'm just going to put that out there. I feel like 15 minutes, I can blink and 15 minutes has passed and nothing is going to get, I have to put that out there. Now, has it reflected on our test scores or anything like that? No, it has not. But I also feel like that it has not reflected in our test scores because we have a leader who is focusing on pushing the standards in our schools. So it wouldn't reflect because you all were already filling in the gaps that we were missing before. With all that being said, as a parent for my child, she loves this calendar. That's 8 less days that she has to go to school. And that's how she looks at it. It's 8 less days that she has to go to school, and she's got a safe, happy home that she's got food, and she don't have to worry about anybody hurting her. Not every child in this county has that. So, with that being said, I said my 2 cents worth, and now we can vote.
Yeah, and I have one thing. Just the dual credit is all taken care of, right? I know the first year we did this, it was kind of a whole mess.
Mr. Martin had brought that up. He was the high school representative. And I know this year is a whole lot better, than it was the first year that we've done that. That's certainly a concern. Dual credit, those classes may start before we do.
As long
So-
as the college campuses have that open to where our kids can get access, that is the only
We
thing.
gave Chromebooks out early for those
Right, I
people.
think it,
Yeah,
yeah, that's why I
Bucks.
just wanted to,
Yeah.
yeah.
They met with people,
Yeah.
and they were all good.
The first year, we did not do a very good job of preparing for that, but this past year, we corrected, and I think it went much smoother. Miss Casey was part of that as
I
well.
think it's much better, yeah.
And Miss Angie, when we proposed this, this was something that was different, that
Oh,
was out of the, that was out of the norm. And, when I looked at this year, when I looked at my SAR report, average daily attendance, that's 8 less days.
I know it
funding.
is.
But when you look at our attendance percentage last year, it went up. It went up, pretty significantly. It overcame not having those
But
8
we're also
days.
coming out of COVID.
Well, 5 years,
I
5
mean,
years removed from COVID.
I mean,
But-
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The mentality is changing, and parents are like, oh, yeah, we have to send our kids to school now.
Yeah.
Or, there's more. That's what, and we want you
We want
to
them
if
to.
you're listening.
The quality of instruction certainly matters. And I'll say this about the 15 minutes too. Our high school changed their schedule this year to accommodate for Leader in Me. They've got a homeroom period in the middle of the day. Middle school did too as well. So that has provided those schools some additional minutes to do those things that previously we weren't necessarily able to do. So I know that may not seem like a lot, but it did provide them with that. Again, they've got that extra period at the high school now. So that's a good use of that time.
Yeah. Well, and and I can't help how I feel, and I do understand too that when we started doing this, a big incentive to get quality teachers to our district. That was it's a big thing because that's
The recruits.
that's a better it's an incentive to keep good staff. And I understand all of those things, but I see every day children and I know you all do too, that are just in dire situations. And at the end of the day, they'd be better off in a school building any day. They would be better off with us loving them. And so my heart will not let me go without voicing that. But I will say this. I cannot thank Mr. Bishop and his staff enough because you all stepped up and worked very, very hard. And I know I know I saw Casey there, I saw Jesse there, I saw Carrie there. I mean, all of you all did that, okay? But I mean, the work and the time that went behind that, and it was just a reflection that you all do have the children's best interests at heart. That is what your goal is. And I can't say thank you enough about that because it was so helpful to so many families. And I hope that we can do that again this year.
We plan. And
in many years to come.
Ms. Angie, if I could point out, so there is no vote tonight.
I know, it's a
We just
recommendation.
review, we let everybody know this is the recommendation so that the public can know. Option 1 is the recommendation. I want to make clear it is a draft, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
We stamped draft on there because a few years ago we had someone got out and got confused about, we changed a week of, I think, fall break, and so we got a little confusion there. So we review, public knows, and then in January, come back, and at that point, then we'd have a vote.
That only has to have one vote, correct?
Just has to have one vote. We present it, again, opportunity for feedback, and then we come back.
Oh, I'll
in
get feedback.
January.
I'd say I share some of Angie's concerns, particularly about the less instructional days, but our test scores have reflected, have not reflected that being an impact, so that's good news. I just want to challenge all our staff from top to bottom to make every single day count, and we've got to be real thoughtful about instructional minutes are precious anytime, but they're extra precious on this calendar, and so I just want to say that out loud. I think that's important. I think if we were in a situation where our test scores were not what they are, we would be having a totally different conversation tonight. So I
Agree.
expect us to continue that progress. I don't see any reason we won't, but I think we've got to be mindful of that. So
Thank you so much, Marcus.
you're welcome.
Next, we have item 5C, which is a review and approve the MOU with Rockcastle County Fiscal Court for use of the National Opiate Settlement Funds.
So I'm really excited about this. I've been talking to Hal. I'm glad County Judge Holbrook's with us tonight.
Welcome, Hal.
Thankful he came. So for probably a couple of years, you chime in here.
Absolutely.
We've been talking about trying to come up with something to benefit our county in relation to the opioid settlement funds, $647,000 that the county received. And so we've been talking again for quite some time. I gave you a job description a while back, didn't I? And so we finally, I guess about a month ago, we met with a representative from the opioid abatement settlement group, and they gave us the go-ahead to be able to move forward, and provided us with essentially this MOU, this outline for use of the funds that would allow us to have this position for a substance abuse prevention counselor to work within our schools. So you can see how the MOU is laid out there. You can see the dollar amounts and the schedule there. And the fiscal court, I believe, approved this just a couple hours ago.
Right. I presented it to the court. Like he said, this has been going on for several years, but I went to a lot of opioid meetings with his job description, trying to get them to early on. Couldn't get much traction with it, but finally we've got it worked out, and they gave us their blessings for it. So it's up to us to move on with it. I'm glad that school's taking on all of the responsibility, and we just write you a check every year. So I didn't want no part of it. I'm involved with some other stuff that somebody else does the work, and somebody else is over them, and sometimes it don't work out too good. So I really appreciate y'all taking this. And
I think that this is a very good way to spend those dollars, because those dollars was given to our community because of the death of our community members.
Mm-hmm.
People had to die for those dollars to come to our community, and what better way to use that money now than to help our children so that they don't go down those same paths.
You know, ever since the talk come out, the hearing started, I can't tell you how many meetings I went to just to see how the money's been used, how the money's been spent. Up till last year, there wasn't really no oversight on it. Just if you spend it wrong, you're going to come back and you're going to pay it back. I went to town halls and listened to people get up and present their case about wanting the funding. And I really wanted to do what the best for our county was with the money, and I think being teamed up with the school system and targeting our children here to try to give them better options in life than the way that it's been. Because I won't say what happens now don't work, but I think this will be a lot better.
I think it's a good step in the right direction, for sure.
You know, you can focus on prevention or you can focus on recovery, and both are important. But I believe that this is the best use of these funds, for the future.
Well, I have a question. This really isn't about the MOU, but I guess it is. I noticed it was $100,000 a year, and then I noticed the salary for that position, and I have to ask, are fringe benefits that much?
No.
Okay, you're going to, okay.
No, there's a programming budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
For materials.
Okay,
and
because I was
curriculum
like,
and-
if we're paying that much in fringe benefits, then
That's, I was gonna ask you, I was gonna.
No, there is, we've allocated quite a few dollars for again, an entire program, curriculum, to tie everything together with the position. So this person will have access to some training, obviously. So this person will have access to some dollars to be able to use for our students and for the overall, again, this is one position for 5 schools. So,
Do we already
it's
have
gonna
this
be-
posted?
No, not
Not
yet,
yet.
not
Okay.
yet.
We can't post it.
So
till it's
what
approved
will-
tonight.
we are hiring what exactly? As a substance abuse counselor?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yep.
what they have to have already, or that is something they have to work toward getting?
So in the job description, it's listed, which is, I think, the next item there, but
It is.
the job description lists a bachelor's related field, and then we want them to be a
They can
prevention
get certified
specialist.
after that.
A prevention specialist or a substance abuse? Because they're separate, correct?
A prevention specialist.
But not a substance abuse.
Well, they could be.
Right now, they have to have
So
a
they have to have the
bachelor's degree.
bachelor's is what the.
And then they'll get
job-
certified.
No, but there's a
in-
big difference in a prevention specialist and a substance abuse.
Well, the minimum requirement would be that you become a prevention specialist. But we're gonna leave it a little bit broad
You
as
just have to
far
have a
as
bachelor's
the
degree to be-
degree, the education goes.
Bachelor's degree in social sciences or related field with the willingness to obtain a prevention specialist certification.
You'll get specialized in it as long as you have the bachelor's.
Substance abuse.
Yep.
Sounds like it's prevention.
Was the prevention specialist certification a requirement from the opioid?
That was what they recommended.
Okay.
They
They
didn't
didn't-
recommend
they
a
didn't.
substance abuse counselor?
Well, they gave us some guidelines, but they said it's up to us how we want to use those funds. She saw the job description MOU and she signed off on that.
Yeah, I've met her.
So
She's awesome.
it's totally up to us as far as how we want to design that.
So it's, the title is school-based prevention counselor, is the title of the job, not substance abuse counselor.
And substance abuse counseling is part of the job.
Right.
But they don't have to be necessarily, there's very few, it'd be difficult to find someone that had a master's in substance abuse counseling. There's not that many people that have that. That's, it's a master's level degree. So we didn't want to limit ourselves to that. That's difficult.
Well, I guess the reason I was asking that is because it is spending opiate dollars.
Yeah, which they've already
Opiates
approved.
being a substance.
Which they've already approved for us to do. She
Okay.
told us we can.
Hey, we had her come down and.
That's why we met with
I
her.
mean,
And then she's got the same documents that you do, and she's approved it.
Okay.
So
and she's also had her attorneys to oversee it, also, and, that's been my whole issue all along, to
Oh,
make sure we.
there was no
spend it right.
concrete guidance
So
on
it took
that
us
at
2
all.
years
They wasn't.
Oh, I know,
any,
yeah.
to try to get this the way to meet their satisfaction.
I appreciate the forward thinking of this too, and I hope other counties may take note, and I don't know if others are already.
They're not.
Well, we didn't buy no police
I can
cars
tell
no
you
way
that.
once with opioid money on it.
Yeah, but I mean, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be something Rockcastle will be known for. I like it. It's great.
So this money is gonna be paid not by our school system.
No, the
It's paid by the
school
county.
board, yeah, they've approved this, and we will be hiring the position. Mr. Reppert will be supervising the position and the programming development and implementation, and the fiscal court will be, paying for that.
Similar to SROs, I guess.
And how,
Ish.
correct me if I'm wrong, like, have you all already received that much
We,
money from
we,
the opioid
we
fund?
actually, have received $648,000. With that being said, that's what we've started. This here's just kind of a starting point.
Mhm.
That's the money that we have in the bank today. Just because some of the pharmaceutical companies is filing bankruptcy and getting out of payment.
Mhm.
So this here is just the starting point, and then as the money keeps coming in,
That's great.
and again, there's the opioids overall umbrella has come out every July. You got forms that you got to fill out. So at that point, we'll okay you to keep moving on.
Mhm.
So, and as the money keeps coming in, it'll just move this program on. As long as we're meeting their criteria and all of their check boxes, it'll just keep flowing. And it'll be a few years, but I would say maybe 4 or 5 years, you already see if the program works or not.
Mhm.
So,
So we know we've got 6 years here based on the funds
Yeah.
that they've already received. And I think the only funds you all had spent was what we had requested through Unite
Yeah.
for the guest speaker. That was the only thing we got approval for. So,
because I wouldn't spend it. I mean,
I'm glad you're spending it now,
Huh?
okay? I'm glad you're spending it
well,
now.
I mean, I just,
With us.
Yes.
well, like you said, we've talked about this for several years, and I wanted to do something other in the county that hopefully we will see a result from it.
It'll be generational. That'll be great.
That's a huge thing.
It'll be
That's a
generational.
huge word right there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Hal, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you, and
I
please
thank
tell the
y'all.
magistrates that to thank them for their consideration of this.
This is a district-wide gift,
Yeah.
and I think our
Hopefully
kids
will help a
deserve
lot
it.
of our students. Need a motion to approve the MOU with Rockcastle County Fiscal
Motion
Court.
moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Review and approve the job description for school-based prevention counselor for the National Opioid Settlement Funds. Mr. Reppert's already talked about that
So
somewhat.
moved.
Got a motion and a
Yep,
second.
yep.
All in favor? Item 5E, review and approve the fiscal year 26 salary schedule for this new position.
So moved. I think we've already
Every-
used it.
Everybody look at it?
Yeah.
At least we know the fringe benefits don't cost me
That's-
$2,000.
I'm glad
You-
you
you
asked, 'cause I was
questioned
gonna
that.
ask her.
I questioned them. I thought it was too cheap. I mean,
I'm real worried about it, Hal.
Depending on who you hire, the fringe benefits may get close to you. If you look at the 27 plus, I'm not saying that's who you hire, but I moved approved.
Yeah, I'll second.
All in
Yeah.
favor?
Yep.
Item 6 is review the superintendent's personnel action report.
Give you all just a moment to look over that, if you have any questions.
What job postings do we have right now?
I have a list.
Yeah, I don't think, we have some classified.
We do have 2 certifieds. We have the language arts at RCMS, which has been open for a little while. And then we just recently reopened the music teacher position at Mount Vernon. Miss Amy had been doing a long-term sub position back in that role for us. But I believe Mount Vernon's hoping to have somebody in place for that for after Christmas break, or as soon as we can, find out. And then we do have a couple of classified positions open. I know Ken has a bus driver position open, and then just a couple of other classified, but other than that, we're in a spot.
What about who did we hire for the 3 for the grant?
We have not hired. We're
Nope.
interviewing for that on Monday. It is a January start.
January start date. Okay.
Yeah, so we have not hired
All
that.
this time.
Item 7 is department reports.
instructionalist has some stuff to talk about this evening for her day.
Yeah, I just want to really quick and don't want to take up too much time. I want to go back to Mr. Dustin Reynolds, and just let you all know he is doing such a great job at Roundstone Elementary. We are all so proud of him and just his energy and just his personality has been great down there. Bringing the instructional conversation to the board meeting with him talking about the importance of teaching to the standards and the clarity for learning work that is going on across the district. Um, I'm just so happy to hear that. I truly feel like we are, and we have been, we are just as instructionally focused as we've ever been. And, you know, going back to a conversation that Miss Angie mentioned that her and I had, that was several weeks ago when our test scores first came out. Um, Good conversation, and I'm always open to anyone that would like to have a discussion on assessment or what our teachers are doing and collectively what we're trying to do as a district. Because that's a great conversation or a great question, Miss Angie. How can a school be green, um, or how can it be yellow overall, but have green in every content area? So, um, I want to talk about that just really quick because this is the first board meeting that we've had since our test scores have been released, and obviously, right, we have lots of things that we have already started celebrating at the school level, but as we say all the time, we certainly have room to improve and looking to do so. Going back to that overall score, though, it's not solely based on one content performance. As you can see there are several accountability indicators that kind of go into the culmination of that score. Um, Again, I don't want to take you all the way through that. It takes a lot of time. Long story short, each student, based on their individual performance of their tests, they get points allotted to them. If they score at the novice level, they don't get any points. So we talk a lot about novice reduction and trying to keep our kids out of that level. And then it goes up by a percentage point or so to that, which gives us the current status, uh, and then they take into account the prior status from the year before, and so then finally come to a common indicator score. Again, if anybody would like me to take you through that formula sometime, I'd love to do so. Um, but anyways, you can see there the content areas, right? There are many. If you go back, Mr. Eric, yeah. Uh, just really quick, of course, math and reading, science, social studies, the quality of school climate and safety. We'll talk just a little bit about that in a minute. Kind of goes along with the leader and me conversation that we've already had as well. Post-secondary readiness, of course, is just high school only as well as graduation rate. That's an accountability indicator just for that school level, but we definitely have some numbers that we are proud of. Next slide. And there, as you can see, so as I mentioned, it's a weighted accountability. So you can see there at the elementary level, there is more weight based on those reading and math scores compared to the separate academic areas of science, social studies, and writing. And then you trickle on down or trickle up, I guess you could say, really. If you look up to the middle school, that emphasis is not as much weighted in reading and math compared to elementary and same as for high school. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea about why, Roundstone was labeled yellow, but they scored green in all their content areas. Matter of fact, it was a survey result that was a little bit low for them. That kind of hurt them, unfortunately. But their academic areas they increased in both. So Mr. Dustin and I we've already had those conversations, and he's already looking to improve there. So as you all know, the colors Kind of think about it as a ladder. Red is at the bottom. We don't want anyone at red or orange. Yellow is about mid-range, and then of course green and blue. That's at the proficient level. That's where we want all of our students to be scoring, if all possible. Next slide, please, Mr. Eric. Okay, so for spring 2025, you can kind of see there, just really brief. We've talked a lot about overall scores. You can see there for each school level, their overall score for 2025 as well as 2024 and 2023. Um, and again, a lot of indicators that go into that overall score. Just want to run through this really quickly. I was immersed in data and test scores this morning, so much so I was late for our morning center office meeting. I had to apologize for that, but just some trends I noticed. I'm not going to go through all of these charts because I have several, and I put this presentation into the department reports. I did that late this afternoon, so I don't know if you had a chance to see, but one thing that really stands out to me, really in all of our school levels for reading and math, is that our proficiency rate, so those students that are scoring proficient and distinguished, you can kind of see there, just looking at the elementary from 2023 to 2025, there is a progressive trend of more students scoring in that range, and that is definitely what we want to see. Dr. Ballinger and I have talked about that. We want as much growth as we can get. We want it all at one time, from one year to the next, but we know that it's a process and that it takes time. So you can go to the next one, Mr. Eric. Now, with math, we had a little bit of dip with our proficiency. We actually had more students scoring at the distinguished level, which would be at the blue, but collectively, and it looks like at that proficient level in math is where we lost a little bit. Math is that ongoing conversation content area that we're always looking to improve. It's not just a Rockcastle issue, it's a state issue, so much so that new legislation is going into effect starting next school year. We're already starting to plan for that with math improvement plans. We actually have those in place reading this year, and we feel like that is making a difference. There's a lot more communication from school to home, where parents are knowing what their child are scoring on the KSA, on the universal screeners, and so forth. Mr. Eric, next one. Middle school. Middle school is really a bright spot for us. It was, I mentioned this in my notes, it was only just a couple of years ago, back in 2023, that they were labeled by the federal level as TSI and targeted support. They have come out of that since then, and you all can see there again, their proficiency rate there at the very bottom, again, is trending upward, and so happy to see that. And their novice reduction is going down as well. Same thing with math. Again, there's an upward trend there with the students that are scoring at the proficient level. So definitely glad to see that. Novice reduction, mentioned that a lot. We're seeing good things. Next one, Mr. Eric. So moving on really quick to the high school, obviously it's been advertised and very happy with some of their results. The top table there is their post-secondary readiness scores. You can see where they were in 2023. Took a slight dip in 2024. I wish Mr. Buswell could be here, and shout out to him. Hope he's having a great recovery from knee surgery. But that 125, happy to say, is a perfect score for post-secondary readiness. And Dr. Ballinger mentioned the PIM grant. Listen, the intentionality and the focus for those students being college and career ready, all of that hard work is definitely, you can see it on the screen there. The graduation rate there at the bottom, again, it is going up. That's what we want to see. We want to see all of our kids be able to receive a diploma, when they leave us. So,
I have to ask this.
yes.
Post-secondary readiness. What all were the indicators in that? I mean, to get a perfect score, what all were?
Okay. So I thought you would ask.
You knew me so well, Tom.
There are so it's really tracking individual kids, right? And trying to get each one of them to meet a variety of criteria of how they could be considered post-secondary ready. It could be meeting a benchmark as such as an ACT score, an AP test, CTE, passing an end of the program assessment for that. There's opportunities at apprenticeships and co-ops as well, um, and internships. So, our students, that's we talk a lot about the educational pathways that we have at our school. This kind of falls along the same lines because it gives our students an opportunity of various ways. It's not just to say, well, you have to get a 30 something on the ACT to be post-secondary ready. They have lots of avenues and opportunities.
They tracked every student at the high school and made certain that they had met one of those criteria that would deem them post-secondary ready.
And is that seniors, juniors, seniors, prior year seniors that graduated, or current year seniors?
I always have to think through that. It's
That'd be the ones that graduated
the
in
ones
25.
that graduated in 25. Yes.
Yeah, and I would say Miss Susan Norton Casey, Miss
Mhm.
Brandy Smith, again, they do a wonderful job. It is a huge spreadsheet. They actually start tracking kids, I mean, as soon as they get there.
Their freshman year.
Yeah.
And one thing I think that has helped too that the high school implemented a couple years ago was doing individual scheduling with students. So before the scheduling system was a little bit different, but starting a couple years ago, we would meet with students individually. There was a group of 6 or 7 of us, and make sure that the students' interests were being met with the classes that they scheduled, and that they were on a pathway, and not just taking classes just here and there that weren't a focused pathway. And so we started that a few years ago, and I really feel like that's helped get those students on those pathways to be able to be completers, which improves our post-secondary readiness. So that was a huge help. And they're continuing to do that, I believe. Yeah.
Great point, Mr. Eric. Next slide. I wanted to bring this up. We've not had a conversation about this very much, but really quick, kind of goes along, like I mentioned, with Leader and me. The school climate and safety survey that our students take, I just picked out a couple of questions. I think altogether there are 27 questions that our kids take from the elementary level to the high school. And so they have to answer these questions on their own. You can see there the first one, my school is a caring place. So we had 100% participation rate of students that were assessed at those levels. They answered this question. 0% strongly disagree, 1% disagree, 26% agree, and then 72% strongly agree. So, a very large majority amount of our students that took this assessment, they feel like their school is a caring place. You can see the next one there. The school rules are fair. Now, some of that is subjective, right? But still, it's great to see a large amount, Mr. Eric. Another one, as far as safety, I feel safe in my classes. Again, an overwhelming amount of students feel safe in their class. Adults from my school work hard to make students feel safe. You take, for instance, a day like they had today at Roundstone. Um, I would argue that those students probably had no inclination of what was going on outside those doors, and they felt just as welcome and safe as they do every day. So, um, slide, yeah, just some highlights there. And again, these are mentioned. I'm not going to read through all of these. These are all mentioned in the board notes. Just some things we're super proud of, Mr. Eric. And then obviously, as mentioned, you know, there's so many things that we want to work on and want to improve, and a lot of these are ongoing things there. You know, I'll mention that one there kind of towards the middle says trust the process. You know, I feel like we have a pretty good process. And again, that's what it is. It's not going to be a daylight, uh, dark over the night, instant change. There's a lot of things that we are trying to be more consistent at each school level, and really feel like we're going in the right direction. So any questions on assessment or test scores or anything else? Anyone?
Thank you, Tom. Good job. Does anyone else have anything?
Getting a new network today, so I'm excited about that. It's been a long time, so people are in the district tonight. They're brought in now, install new network equipment, and they'll be here the rest of the week and part of next week, replacing everything. So.
And I see we're going to be televising some games, or at least broadcasting games.
Yep. So JT's at the high school now. He's got a real high tech picture. It's pretty cool. So the first time we're gonna stream the basketball game tonight. The varsity game will be streamed. So on the same YouTube channel as the board meeting. So it'll be the same channel.
So it's gonna cut us off and it
Our
should.
goal.
It should, okay?
We tested that. We wanted to make sure everybody could watch those streams if they want independent. But yeah, so we're gonna start that tonight. We're excited about that too. That's with JT's there doing that, but there's a video class this year. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a video class with Miss Carrie Burdette. Our students are helping do that, so it's exciting.
Awesome.
Nobody else? Dr. Ballinger?
Just a few notes that I have, primarily just some dates. Did want you all to remind you on December the 18th, beginning at 8:30 that morning, Ms. Connor will be providing breakfast to our district leadership team and to everyone that works at central office and our principals, and would love to invite you all to come if you're available on that morning to join us.
And Hal, you're invited too, since you gave us all this money.
Yes, and it's always the delicious breakfast, so we're looking forward to that. Tomorrow, we are hosting the Retired Teachers Christmas Banquet. We do that annually here in this building, so we will be having that tomorrow at 11:30. If anybody would like to come by and have lunch with us, you're more than welcome to swing by and pick up some lunch and join us, or pick up some lunch to go if you need to get back to work. But that is tomorrow, and we do have a student from the academy that's coming to provide some music for them, and then I'll be just giving them a district update. So always look forward to having them back with us. I want to give a shout out to the Roundstone team today and to everybody in this office who jumped in and quickly made decisions and got our kids home safely. And I'm always amazed at how fast everybody in this office pulls together to make things happen. So appreciate everybody that was a part of that. And also want to give a shout out to Mr. Hopkins and his transportation team. We're just not even to Christmas yet, and we've already made some tough calls on whether to have school or whether to not have school and what to do. And always appreciate them in the winter. Always appreciate them, but especially so in the wintertime when we're trying to figure all that out. One more thing, Miss Tammy Campbell's group will be doing Nourishing Neighbors on the 18th next week. They do that multiple times a year. That will be from 11 to 1, and next week they're going to be set up in different locations across the county. So primary location will be at Livingston, but she'll have like some satellite drop-offs as well. So always proud of the work that they do to serve our communities. And other than saying, hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas and some time off, enjoy your families, and appreciate you all, and always, and especially here at the holidays. Thank you all.
Thank you. I always ask Matt to go first for our board comments, but I'm going to let you go last today, Matt, because I know someone else will beat me to this, and I just wanted to say how proud that I am personally, that as a board, how honored we all should feel to have Dr. Ballinger leading us. And the recognition that you got recently, what an achievement. And I can't think of anyone that is more deserving of the recognition than you. So that's the reason I had to beat Matt out of that, because if not, he would have said the very same thing first, so.
Well, I thank you, and I said it that day, and I've said it every day since then, and I wish they could just not say superintendent of the year, but say school district of the year, because it's our teachers, and it's our bus drivers, and it's this whole team, and everybody that makes this a great place to work and go to school. Thank you.
But you're a beautiful face for the
Well,
school district.
thank
so
you.
that- But we do thank you for all that you do. Matt?
Oh, I was going last. I actually wanted to mention Kenna's Kitchen and what a great,
Equal that.
great event that is. Appreciate all the people that worked to make that happen. And if Chris, you better watch it, because Brandon is learning how to do food service, and he might. You know,
We will take him.
okay. Well,
I can barely work the can openers.
he's not good with the can opener, but he's pretty good with the mixer and the mashed potatoes. So, and I was going to mention Carrie and Ken, and I know I think Ken gets a bonus if he has to declare snow days before Christmas, right? But I know that's tough calls, and I don't envy you all at all. But I appreciate the work on that. Appreciate the extra work to try to go on the days like the 2 hour delays. I think I know there's pros and cons to that, but I appreciate us trying to be innovative on days when we can, because of hungry kids and all the things that we talk about. And they just appreciate everybody. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. You said almost everything I was going to say, so yeah. No, I've just been bragging about our superintendent of the year and our post-secondary readiness, #1 in the state. I've been telling everybody about it. I was at KSBA Winter Symposium this last week, and they only have great things to say about Rockcastle County. So anytime you say that name, it's a smile on faces. So
It's nice to hear.
yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Sandy?
Well, we've got so many positive right now, so I appreciate you all for that. Miss Carrie, congratulations.
Thank you.
With the holidays coming up, I find great pleasure. We usually adopt a child. There's so many less fortunate. Holidays are hard. So, I hope you all enjoy your families and your times together, making memories, and bring in the new year memories. And thank you all for all you do.
Thank you, Miss Hannah. I'd like to say Merry Christmas to all of you. I appreciate every one of you, all of your hard work, your dedication, working when you should be home recovering from surgery, because you love the kids and you love the families here. And it's very, very much noticed by everybody in the state.
Oh, yes.
Everybody in the state recognizes that. We have a great school district. We have a great community, a community of people who care. And kindness creates kindness. You know, my granny used to say that to me, if you're kind, they'll be kind. So, you know, I believe that is the secret to it all. Um, I did want to say that my heart goes out to the Mount Vernon staff. I wanted to reiterate that again. Please let us know if there's anything that, as a board member, I know we had discussed, you know, if you could let us know of any details in the future. We would appreciate that. And I think that's all I have. Kenna's Kitchen, I did want to say this. I want to just do a shout out to Miss Regina again. She's a rock star, and you know, she's done this for how many years? 25. Has she been part of all 25 years of this?
Started it.
Yeah. She didn't have to carry this on, but she chose to do that. And that shows that servant's heart. So I just do wanted to give a shout out. We do. And the other thing I will say is Miss Anna is right. We have a lot of families in our community that Christmas is not really a happy time right now. It's a sad time because we just reflect a little bit more on the things that are important. So remember others in your prayers and keep showing kindness is all I would say to our community. I know that all of you all do that. for believing, because I think I've had many conversations with you about opiate funds. Come on now, let's spend this money, let's help people, let's help people, let's help people. I've drove him crazy about it. And for the fiscal court to trust Rockcastle County Schools in using that investment to help our community means a lot to Rockcastle County Schools, that we have that partnership. So, special thanks to you all. Please tell all, and tell Wanda that I'll quit aggravating her about it, okay?
It's not my quote, but it's what I tell my staff all the time. In a world where you can be anything,
Be kind.
be kind.
But Merry Christmas. I hope Santa brings all of you great gifts. Trent's getting cold when his phone rings.